I did a study about the importation of southern shelter dogs to Maine, and I've been working with Dr. Don Honig, the Maine State Vet, and the State of Maine Animal Welfare Program. I've also talked with many animal shelters and rescues in Maine. So starting around 1999-2000, dogs started to be imported into Maine and New England, but it wasn't until after Katrina that southern dog importation really increased. And a huge reason that southern shelter dogs are so popular is because there's a huge overpopulation in the South and Midwest states. So that would include like Arkansas, Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. In order for the South to manage the overpopulation problems, a lot of these dogs are going to high kill shelters, where many of them are killed every week. And the real problems from overpopulation drives from the fact that there are a lot of, there's a big lack of education about spaying and neutering dogs, as well as giving them their basic vaccinations like distemper and rabies. And so two of my goals were to calculate the number of dogs that are actually coming into the state of Maine, and also to look into vaccinating and treating dogs and whether they're being vaccinated before or after coming into Maine. So in order to figure out how many dogs were in fact coming into Maine, I counted interstate health certificates that I obtained from the Maine State Vet. Dogs are required to have health certificates whenever they enter into any other state in the U.S. Maine requires that dogs have rabies, distemper, hepatitis, and the parvo vaccination, as well as a heartworm test and a nasal fecal exam. So one of the things that I discovered is that dogs are not coming in to the state with these vaccinations written down, so there's no way to know if these dogs actually have these vaccinations or not. So this is an example of a health certificate, and so these are all puppies that are coming in, and they have they have a rabies and a distemper and a Bortella, but they do not have a fecal exam, so we don't know if they have worms or not. And then this is a health certificate from Arkansas. This dog has a fecal negative and a heartworm test and rabies, but you don't know if it has distemper, parvo, or hepatitis, which can be problematic because it could lead to outbreaks, which there has been in Maine. So by counting the number of health certificates, I was able to determine the number of legal dogs coming into the state. So in 2011, so this year so far, from January to April, there's been 866 dogs that have come into the state. But that's only a partial year, so if you were to multiply that out by 3, you get about 24,000 dogs that are going to come in this year. And compared to last year, which in 2010, we had 899 dogs, so 2,400 is a big difference. And it's a little unclear to why this year there's going to be so many more dogs than there was last year. But after talking to Don Honig, he's mentioned that they're cracking down on shelters and rescuers to actually file these health certificates so that they know what dogs are coming in and what they're coming in with. So that's a potential reason. And then also the increase of southern shelter dogs into Maine is also increasing as well. So there's a higher demand. So in the past years, there was 677 dogs that came in 2009, and 2008 there was 685, and 2007 there was 85. And the reason that that year was so low is because that's the year that they first started requiring health certificates. So it took a while for shelters and organizations to actually get with the program. This report that I've published for my senior project is going to be going to all the state vets in New England, also going to all the shelters and rescue groups in Maine, along with any animal organizations that would like to have access to it. And I plan on, since this subject is interest to me, I plan on continuing my research afterwards. And in 2 years, I'm going to take 2 years off, and I'm going to work and continue research on this, and then I plan to go to vet school. And thank you.